topic?
Oh, so it was the new rules. Oh,
Oh, okay.
oh, oh,
I'm
oh,
gonna struggle through those. I've
oh
been
no!
reading them,
Oh,
but they are
boy, not as much as me.
they're they're painful to read.
We're just gonna go live. We're just going live now. Hold on. Oh, 1 second. Yeah. So here we are again, Mr. Banks and Martin. Um, we are a little bit late. We had some technical problems, but with coronavirus and all the bandwidth being used up, you know, they've left some dregs for us, so we managed to get the connection on. That's my excuse. But
I've got a feeling if people tuned into this and there wasn't one or two technical difficulties, they'll say, "Hold on, what happened with you guys? You've gone Hollywood on."
but it is just us today, so there's no pressure. Chris is not on after us. He's going to be on tomorrow with who's he on with? Bob tomorrow.
He's on with Taylor Johnson.
Taylor Johnson. He's on with Taylor Johnson, and I watched the quiz that they had yesterday with was it Drew? Um,
Yeah, with Chuck Drew.
Chuck Drew, and yeah, that was a nice little segment with the competition. I don't know if you got to catch that up, Martin.
I did see a bit of. I did
Yeah,
see a bit of it.
yeah.
So tomorrow he's going to be on with Taylor. That's the guy on your team, right, Bob?
Yes,
Shooting
and he's
70% from the
he,
field.
is- he he was
But
just
nice.
named Eurobasket Port Player of the Year,
Ooh, wow,
Bad boy.
wow, wow, bad boy
and
for
and
real.
Akeem Stella was named the Player of the Year, and he was also named Domestic Player of the Year.
Damn, yeah,
Okay.
got props this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's outstanding. That's
It was
absolutely
pretty
Yeah.
much all the key awards was pretty much us and Solon.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Congrats.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what I was watching throughout the whole season, but now I know, and it all makes sense because well, and you've been commentating on the games as well, right, Martin?
Well, as I said, I came down to commentate on that one game, and I
Yeah.
know I, I had a chat with Bob before about Taylor. Exactly. I mean, the team looked good, but I was really impressed. I
Mm,
mean, just I think what Bob told me that it was the shot selection, taking the right shots, and
mm,
that's something a lot of kids could learn today. You
mm,
know, it's take the shots you can
yeah.
make the right decisions at the right time, and I think he came in and you showed me the stats, Rupert, and it was like he was shooting 60% or from three. I thought, man, this is crazy. I
mm.
think that game he shot 70%. I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong business, right? Because I damn sure never shot that. But yeah, it was really it was a good game. They were playing Bark in Abbey, I think.
Yeah,
I got the chance to come down and commentate and had a good time.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
No, so Taylor is
VIP tickets
he's
next year, Bob. By the way, but
yeah he he's one of the most patient players I've ever come across in my life.
Mm,
He keeps himself under control. When he's knocking down a lot of shots, he very rarely forces a shot, and he doesn't take shots that he can't. That's why he shoots a great percentage.
yeah,
mm.
yeah, he was awesome.
In
But
with
yeah,
your
Rupert, earlier you
sorry, Karen.
go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say for a guy who could force up a lot of shots because he's such a fantastic shooter, he just doesn't do it very much.
Mm,
If he takes two bad shots a game, it's a lot.
mm,
Yeah, that's great. That's good. And actually, from when you first told me, when I looked at the stats, I thought this has to be a big guy
mm.
because it's very rare you see guards out there shooting that type of percentage from the field. Because, like you said, a lot of the time it's just all right. We need to get a shot of the patience, but it wasn't like he didn't shoot a fair amount of shots. Like just had the patience to pick the right ones, and it reflects in the stat line.
Mm.
It's
You know,
very
so
interesting. He was our leading scorer, and I would be surprised if he was our leading shot taker in any game all season.
well, that's not bad. When that's your guard, that's not bad. Look,
That's the efficiency there, right?
tell some of my guards that they think it's a race to get up as many shots as possible.
Patience.
You're not gonna run out, man. But Rupert, earlier you were telling me something about there's some new rules coming.
Yeah, well, I saw something. I think, Bob, you saw something about that as well, right?
Yeah, FIBA's revised some of the rules. Um, very, very hard reading. I've tried to go through the bulk of them. I didn't see anything there that's going to be real controversial. I believe what they're trying to do is clean up a fair number of the things and calls that are there. One of the things that they're trying to do is clean up the player injury, and it's quite interesting. I mean, ultimately, they've given doctor the authority to go on a floor at any given time. If you have a team doctor or physician in the attending the game, and he sees a player injured, he has the right to go onto the court without waiting on the referee to stop the game if he deems it necessary. Which I don't think anyone would disagree with too much.
Yeah.
The other areas around that was just clean up existing rules. For example, the coaches, the trainers, the physio, and assisting players can't come onto the floor until the referee signal. And one other thing that they cleaned up, which I think is important, because it wasn't very clear in the past, or at least it was implemented differently from referees, because ultimately what it is now, if the ball gets turned over and a player gets injured, and the opposing team, for example, is attacking the basket, the referee will not stop the game until either the shot is taken or the ball is stopped. Now, that can be overruled if the referee believes that the injury is of such a nature that they need to stop everyone from moving at that given point. So it just cleans up that rule, and I
Oh, I think we have a.
personally think it helps. One thing, then ultimately game has to by another player unless you don't have 5 players who continue the match, and then he's allowed to stay on.
Yeah, got the gist.
Okay.
They also cleaned up the rule that if there's a blood, which now you have to be stopped and substituted. Now, if a timeout is called and you're able to have the blood cleaned and the bleeding stopped and the wound covered, the player is allowed to go back to the court after the timeout unless he was subbed prior to the timeout.
Okay. So it seems like the main things are protection of the player. So it doesn't sound anything too controversial, like you said. This sounds good.
Not at all.
And when I spoke to you
Dave,
yesterday as well, Bob, you're raising conversation around the league, the time that we have as downtime now because of the whole virus and people being housebound, and how we could be in better readiness for the forthcoming season as well. So where we might be under a bit of pressure registering teams, we could be in a better position for this season ahead, right?
Yes. I was saying I hope that that all the administrators use this time to better prepare themselves for the season next year, Hopefully, we can get out sooner than normal. The applications to submit your teams, and hopefully the process goes much. It is it is a registration system, because that was quite problematic last year's schedule in terms of preparation and entry into the league.
Yeah, that caused a lot of issues. That first few months, something. I mean, I even heard there was a team. Actually, let's run a shot. I heard that one team they nearly pulled out. They did pull out the league because of just the registration issues. So it seemed so cumbersome at the time, and they couldn't get around to doing it. So, as you said, I think in a lot of ways, this whole lockdown situation we've got now gives us a time to sit and breathe where we'd never really had it. So it's a time to sort out a lot of these details that might be going on. Obviously everybody's still unaware of what exactly the timeline's going to be, when we're going to be back. But as I said, it'd be a good time to do some planning. If we get things sorted, so if everything gets back up and running, it can be smooth by the next season.
I'd just like to kind of note that we have got some network problems on all our calls today. I think Bob's breaking up a little bit, and I think yourself as well a little bit, Martin. I don't know if you can hear me okay. So we'll just push on and see if we get some stability.
Quite clearly.
I am. Okay. And I've set Bob at a lower bandwidth, so he should be okay, and you're normally fine. But yeah, we'll just carry on.
I mean, as I said, they call this the rough cut, so if there are only one or two little details and little hitches, it doesn't really seem authentic, you know what I mean? We have to keep it this way. But yeah, I mean, I guess now it's like, I mean, a lot of the players I've got now, it's like they're starting to feel that pang for basketball. Missing it. And I don't know, obviously from a junior perspective, this is another message I'd like to give out there, which I'm with a lot of my players. Now is the time to really tighten up some of the fundamentals that maybe you wouldn't have time to do. That's an excuse. You've got the time to do it, but you're not locked in your house. So now, a lot of these players, and I see a lot of people posting stuff online and giving little drills. It's a time to, put a dedicated program in place. And I'm telling all my junior guys here, because as you said, the season does start in September. Off-season starts now. So let's start tightening up, as Bob was saying, not only the administrative stuff, but also the game stuff. There's a lot you can work on, a lot of even the mental aspects of the game. I've seen a few coaches out there saying, start watching games, start analyzing. And we're in such a rush in everything we do. And obviously, especially in the basketball front, you're sort of just putting out fires. You don't have time to look at bigger picture issues. And, it's given us a chance to do this. So that's what, we want to try and do. As I said, I'm talking to my boys that, all right, this season we didn't get a chance to end it out the way you wanted, but it's a reason to come into next season. And if
be ready.
Force majeure happens, don't leave it up to just, you should have taken care of business earlier in the season. So that's a mindset we're looking to take.
Yeah, because my youngest has been the same. I think the abrupt end to the season actually was quite damaging in that it was all of a sudden it's like, what am I going to do with myself? Because I had routine, I had to go to school, I had to get up in the morning, I go train in Uxbridge, I go train in Haybrook, and then everything just fell out, but thankfully for him, he's he got a regime going like you, Martin. I see your posts on Instagram, while I'm turning in my bed out in the park with your whole family first thing in the morning with all your enthusiasm. Not sure about everybody else's enthusiasm, but
no one else is like, what's he doing?
But you're out there and they're out there with you, and that's great. you know, so with my youngest, it's the same. He gets out, he does some hand drills, you know, in the garden, him and the dog, and and then also he's got you know, he's going for a physio program. Some of his information's come from Bisham Abbey, and some really kindly from Kay Parker, I think it is, Bob, and I think Bob may have frozen actually.
Bob may have frozen. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, which has been great. So you know, he's getting a lot of help all round in preparation for you know, for the next season. So yeah, it's a point well made, really.
And that's the thing. It's like not everybody right now has the access to a court and so on.
Mm.
And whereas before it's difficult to get guys to go and, you know, sit there and do dribbling drills, sit there and do passing drills, sit there and do footwork stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, you can fill that time with doing these things, which I think, from a, you know, a youth basketball standpoint,
Yeah.
is missing a little.
Yeah.
The skill and the talent's there. The
Yeah.
athleticism is there. But focusing on what sometimes are the so-called boring things in basketball,
Yeah.
I think will help push us along. So here, maybe this is an opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe the next month you're locked down, 2 months you're locked down.
Mm-hmm.
Youngsters, let's get on that.
Mm. Yeah, I
You
totally
know?
agree.
Good to see Tyler doing that, but
Yeah.
send my one out.
Yeah, you know, but I mean,
The neighbours are complaining because they're around now all day, hearing about bounce.
yeah, they're used to it where we are. I mean, because remember, the older one used to play as well, so you know, all they're doing is putting up higher fences.
Yeah, so that's the thing. But as I said, I think that part, and at the same time, we get a chance to look. And, you know, some of these discussions I'm learning a lot from as well. But get a chance to look at other options that we can do to make it better come next year.
Mm.
You know, willing that everything worked out fine. Hopefully, we can get some of the summer back to get back in. If not, also the fitness side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I see Wayne, you know, a contributor on this channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got his boys out there running, exercising when they can, you know, the one exercise a day that you get.
Yeah.
You guys are flaunting that one, but, you know, it's good if they get their little few jogs in, get their workout drills. And I think that's why, you know, with the players, they can push each other, show what each one's doing. Mm-hmm. And they still get that kind of, you know, competition in there as well. You know, I'm competing with him to do this and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Bob's back with us. Are you still here? You back with us, Bob? No, just it's not great on the connectivity.
I think it's delayed a little bit.
Yeah, and there's nothing I can do to help from where I am.
Well, that's it. It's a shame we want to hear. But tomorrow, you're saying, Taylor will be on his own show, or he's going to be on with Bob? And you said you've got a few other things in the pipeline coming down.
Right. So tomorrow Taylor's going to be on Chris's show, Chris Hughes. Hopefully they're going to do another one of those quiz formats, and I think they are. So it's going to be how much does he know his team or his teammates, and which is the same thing, you know, same format they done yesterday. Today I've been speaking to High Rollers, and so High Rollers is like a wheelchair basketball organisation, I'm going to say, rather than a club. It's probably a club as well. And just tentative talks about them having their own spot, doing their interviews, and having content. So we'll see how that goes. I have been speaking to someone else about a slot for nutrition, so nutrition and well-being. So I'm hoping that comes to fruition, where we're able to have a slot for that also. So lots of conversations going on, but it's not a lot. It's not a platform for which a lot of people have been prepared for. You know? So I know we've spoken about it. Hence why you know we're the Bravehearts.
Throw them into the deep end.
Yeah.
Just don't even tell them. Just say sign in, and they're on telly. Finish.
Well, as you know, I mean, my face wasn't gonna be here at all until I got some
Believe me.
strong encouragement from you. So,
Let me tell you that.
and I
You're
kinda,
like, I don't know. You're like Ernie Johnson right now.
Yeah.
You're the main guy. We can't tune in and not see you. You're a personality.
no,
Five guys.
I could change that. I can get that logo up there quite quickly.
No, man, I think you do a good job, and as I said, it kind of leads where everyone's going. The thing, it's always a big mistake to get a bunch of basketballers together. They start talking about all sorts, going back to when they did this.
Yeah,
It's good, you kind of keep everyone together. Like when I'm on there with Wayne before,
yeah,
the tangents we could have gone off on,
yeah.
you could cancel the whole thing. But as it is, it kind of flows nicely. So
I mean-
it's good. It's good to have.
I mean, I had spoken to Laken as well, and he's up for coming on, and what else?
That'd be great, so.
Yeah, I spoke to. I don't know if you know Tosin used to play for Westminster Warriors, but I think he's got his own little platform. Anyway, I've seen a video of his some time ago, really well produced. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if it will. Yeah. But
Man, as I said, as it goes along, the more people, as I said, we can try and ask different questions. It's I think there's even a few people I've talked to. Everyone seems interested.
yeah,
People like to talk,
yeah,
right, and give their opinions, whether you want it or not.
yeah. I mean, but the thing is, there is interest, but I mean, you just got to step over the threshold. You got to really step over, and that's what I was reluctant to do. To be honest, I was happy to facilitate, but not to sit here and have any conversation with anyone. And I'd say to anyone out there that it's all right. It's not that bad, actually.
Well, the thing is, Rupert, these conversations are being had all over the basketball world.
Yeah.
Anytime you go to games, there are people on the sideline, they're having these conversations. And when they meet up for, like for me and you, for example, we always meet up at these, and we'll have these conversations.
Yeah.
And I think, the more that they're had and the more people that come in, and as I said, it's a meeting of minds. Everybody has their opinions. Doesn't mean everyone agrees with everyone else's opinions, but you get to hear it.
Yeah.
In a grown-up fashion. And I think it'll bring out more opinions and get us, because a lot of time maybe we just have an echo chamber of the same people and we're hearing the same things and we believe in this is the way it should be, or whatever. Different perspectives and being able to, I guess there'll be more situations where we come in here and we have verbal back and forths of different opinions.
But the other thing is, which is good also, because, I mean, for example, a question just come in. It says, good show, guys. Question for any of you coaches, for which I'm not, for the last season, are there any rules that frustrated you and you still feel the need for updating or clarification? So that's, if you're shy to come on, for which this person isn't, thank you, Chris. You can throw in a question through the chat on YouTube or on Facebook. So that was a question for
rules have frustrated me, man. All the rules frustrate me. Frustrated. To be fair, I need to read the rule book a bit better because sometimes I'm there arguing with refs about something that's not even a rule. I don't know. The funny thing is this, and it's not a rule that actually affected me because this year I coached under 16s and under 18s, but the year before it was under 14s. And one of the rules they put in place was that the coach can't stand up.
Bob's back in, I think.
Yeah. I don't think I would have been able to manage it that case. I'm sure Bob's got some better ideas on that one.
Let's try you again, Bob. I think we're really struggling with your connection. Maybe Bob, if you drop out completely and join back in, I'll set you at an even lower bandwidth. So if you drop out, Bob, and come back in, I'll set you at a much lower bandwidth and see how that works.
Yeah,
All right.
not working.
Okay. So I guess Bob's going to drop out and come back in.
But I mean, I guess from Chris's question,
Yeah.
if it, which I guess is a rule, one of the rules the conference teams don't go into the playoffs. I, I really don't agree with it.
Yeah. Yeah. We
I think
Yeah, we touched on that the other day, and I have to say, I mean, I'm not great on the rules, but for me, it's a form of entertainment rather than the detail and the specifics. But I had actually reached out to a referee, in fact, and it's a long shot, but it would be great if we can get a regular contribution, because I think with the work that they do,
that would be good.
yeah, with the work that they do, I mean, they can probably talk us through for days and days and be back and forth. And if we could have a contributor who is a referee that is prepared to come on and host a session where we can in and out, constructively, and everything's constructive, then that'd be outstanding. But we'll see.
I'm sure there'll be a few who wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah, well, I'll keep chipping away.
Turn the live chat off so the hail of abuse starts.
No, this is positive. This is about.
The funny thing was, I was coaching a game the other day.
Yeah.
Well, back when the season was running, and there's a ref who we know quite well. It was actually just a school game.
Yeah.
And so I helped to ref, but I found out more about refing, and he told me about the quadrants that they look at.
Yes, yeah.
Which I never knew. I'm there lost, and I'm there shouting at a ref, "Didn't you see that call?" But he says that's not my place to look at.
Yeah, sure.
And so I learned, so I think that would be helpful for a lot of people, just to get certain views and things they see, because a lot of the time, as players and spectators, it's a lot of pressure on them. It's not easy to ref. It's not easy.
And I think also, there are a lot of people whose children play, or grandparents with their family members playing, who don't quite understand, and maybe sometimes a little bit embarrassed to ask. And so that kind of clarification, not just for people that actually play the game, but for people that would like to know a little bit more, other than it's about the ball going into the hoop, And to be honest, we need those people to understand the game a little bit better, so that they can kind of be supporters of the game, and feel more comfortable going to games, knowing a little bit more about it. So it'd be it's a great platform and a time for them, to know about a little bit more about the rules of the sport from an official person.
And once again, it's a time where we have a bit of time on our hands.
Yes. Exactly.
So whereas before, the time is so tight. Now you've got time to learn a few of these things. And I think a lot of the parents, and I think sometimes maybe we underestimate it a little bit, because, myself, I'm sure Bob the same, we've come up playing our whole lives. So it sort of becomes second nature.
Yeah.
But like now, in a rugby game, a lot of the small details, no matter if I watch season worth of games, understanding how it works, it just doesn't come quickly. And we maybe think to parents, oh, well, your son's been playing for 2 years, you should know certain things. But it's not the case. It's, you go and watch for the entertainment side, but all the little details and how certain things work, and, perspectives too. Maybe perspectives we can learn from coaches who come on how they think about things, players, how they think about things, and observers to, why certain things happen. So I think it's, all in all, it'd be a good platform to come to and get some of this information, maybe, and get opinions from someone. One thing I know about you, Rupert, I don't think you'd be scared to bring anybody on, regardless of their opinion.
No. I mean, as long as we're all respectful and not abusive.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, that's fantastic, Bob. Let's see if we can hold you to that.
Yeah, let's hope the wind doesn't blow or the sun doesn't go behind a cloud or anything like that. It's not a good day.
Yeah,
Um, but there are a couple of rules that they did change, I don't, which I believe are going to need to be properly taught and instructed. One of the rules that they've tried to clean up is the unsportsmanlike foul.
yeah. Hold on, sorry, Bob. Is there a saxophone being played or something?
Yeah, that's my problem. I was just
Because I was trying to hear Bob, and I could hear an
man,
instrument.
we're meant to be off here at 6:15. I got my boy practicing saxophone right now. We're killing them. Because I've been chatting long, why don't I sign off?
Yeah.
You can finish it up with Bob, and then we won't be hearing the great soprano saxophonist in the background.
Yeah. Or if you was on a microphone, it wouldn't be so bad. You know what I mean? But
No, I'm with that. And
it's
it chose now. Had the whole day, by the way. But
Yeah.
let me sign off,
yeah.
and I'll let you guys carry on, and we'll check back in tomorrow. But I'll tune into the show. Man, that's fine.
Okay.
Fellas, I'll sign off now. I'll keep tuned into the show to hear what you guys are chatting. Okay?
All right. See you, Martin.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We're having a day of it, Bob. So you're saying about the rules?
Yeah, there are two rules that I've come across that I think, if properly instructed, will be beneficial. They've tried to clear up the unsportsman foul,
Yeah.
both in terms of the fast break and also the unsportsmanlike foul that is considered a dangerous foul. They've tried to clean the wording up around those two particular fouls.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those two calls, that's something that has to be rewritten and also taught consistently amongst all the referees.
Mm. Yeah. And
The other one that they tried to clean up is the foul while shooting.
Uh-huh. And what was...
Because that's another one that's interpreted very differently depending on the referee, especially not so much on a jump shot,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're making a move to a moving shot,
Yeah.
as you're attacking the basket from that. I know the NBA terminology basically says once a player starts to gather
Mm-hmm.
and they get fouled, then that's considered part of the shot.
Yeah.
And the rules even here don't use that particular wording,
Mm-hmm.
but it basically is in line with where they have it in the NBA. The question is whether it can be consistently implemented.
All right. Okay. Yeah. And I suppose the key thing with that as well is that not just the referees, obviously, knowing how to implement, these changes, but everyone understanding, when, it is this foul from this new interpretation, so that everyone's on the same page, if you like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would even go as far as to say they haven't really changed it. They've tried to clean the wording up
Yeah.
to make it more interpreted the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's what they said. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at it.
Okay. So.
Yeah, they haven't changed the rule. They've tried to make it to provide more consistent and better clarity, which I think is important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a lot to digest as time goes on with that. I think we kind of got the clarity on your line at last, and I think I'll remember this setting. But then normally, you coming in is fine, and kind of bring this session to a close, and reconvene tomorrow, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much, Bob, and we will speak. And obviously you can see
Rupert,
Martin
thank
up
you.
there still. You take care.
Yes. All right. Cheers.
All right.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.